right, there we go. Why are we lagging?
Going good, but ain't all what it seems. We miss you out here, niggas tripping out here. Shit, get your ish out here. Full of get with you out here. B squad inside, yeah. I was just in the trenches, now I'm in the studio. Smoking and drinking, thinking about my dogs who ain't here no more. Mama, she stressing, but I told her, please don't worry, though. Cause I'm a finesser and I play the shit the way it be. I was just in the trenches, now I'm in the studio. Smoking and drinking, thinking about my dogs who ain't here no more. Mama, she stressing, but I told her, please don't worry, though. Cause I'm a finesser and I play the shit the way it be. Trapped out, get scrapped out.
What up, y'all?
Sit down for a nigga like me, put a Mac out. Be dog, got this nigga, baby, be a Billy Witch nigga.
Let's go.
Witch nigga, tell mama I every day I think about y'all here in the street, man. So every day trying to gain, you just trying to fucking maintain. Shit in the game, niggas point, try to point the blame. Harder than that shit in the game, niggas point, try to point the blame. I was just in the trenches, now I'm in the studio. Smoking and drinking, thinking about my dogs who ain't here no more. Mama, she stressing, but I told her, please don't worry, though. Cause I'm a finesser and I play the shit the way it go. I was just in the trenches, now I'm in the studio. Smoking and drinking.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to Andrews the Podcast Live. And I want to talk about something that everybody's talking about, but I want to offer you a perspective that nobody is going to be able to offer you. Thank you, excuse me. And that's why I want you to go ahead and hit that like button and welcome over here to Andrews the Podcast, because I want to talk about this redistricting thing that's happening in South Carolina. And I think I can offer a different perspective on this thing, a whole different angle on this situation. Everybody's talking about Democrats, everybody's talking about Republicans, everybody's talking about Congressman Clyburn, congressional seats, voting power, lawsuits, maps in Washington, D.C., and Donald Trump, and everybody's talking about all of this stuff. And yes, all of that matters. Don't get me wrong. But I think right underneath that, I think there's something deeper still underneath that conversation. I think there's a layer under that conversation that people see, but I'm going to say it in this podcast right here today. So again, welcome in. If you would hit that like button, it's a simple thing to do. It helps bring people to the podcast. Again, I'm going to unpack something that this is one of them goody mob things. You can listen to me now and believe me later on type situation. Okay. Like I said, all that stuff matters about what everybody's talking about, but something more personal, something that, in my opinion, goes beyond politics, because if redistricting is based on the census, right? And the census is based on population, right? Then there's other questions that I think that we need to be asking at this point. Okay, one, who drew the map? Okay, that's one question. The other question that we should be asking is, what's happening on that map? Okay, what's happening to us on that map, right? And again, this is a different perspective. Let's just say that. Keep an open mind, right? South Carolina is growing. If you don't know, South Carolina is not the number one growing state in the United States. Okay, people are moving here. Okay, The cities are expanding, suburbs are spreading, new industries are coming, new communities are being built, popping up all over the place, new schools, new communities are being built, like I said. But when you look at the numbers, the Black share of South Carolina's population has been sliding, decreasing. Black residents made up 27, you see it on the screen, 27.9% of the state. That was in 2010. In 2020, that number was about 27.1%. Current census facts, and you can look it up for yourself, has South Carolina at about 25% of Black residents alone. So the raw numbers may not tell the whole, that might not tell the whole story, but the share of power does. And in politics, share matters. In redistricting, share matters. In representation, share matters. And here's why it matters. It matters in who gets listened to, who gets ignored, and who gets carved up on a map. Yeah, share matters. Listen, if you are interested in your family history, researching your family history, you should go and visit the museum website in Williamsburg County. That is the C. Williams Rush Museum of African American Arts and Culture. And at that site, you will be able to start your search. There's a lot of links there to where you can go ahead and start, researching different databases to start collecting that information, getting to know who exactly you are, because apparently that's going to be a issue in South Carolina, because the point that I'm going to get to tonight is going to address that. And it's not about no voting or no. This is a bigger problem that we have in South Carolina. Okay, nationally, you know what I mean? I'm just using South Carolina because that's where I am. Okay. The map that, I don't know if it's come out officially yet. I know they've been dragging this thing along for a long time, to me, apparently. The map is not just lines. The argument we keep hearing about redistricting is a political fight, okay? This isn't that. Redistricting that's all it is. It's a political fight, okay? Somebody trying to gain an advantage. But the census numbers are not just political, okay? They have political ramifications, okay, which we're dealing with now, okay? But what they are community numbers, okay? They tell us who's here in South Carolina, who left, who was born, who died, who aged, who moved away, who never got, it tells you the people who haven't even got captured in these numbers, okay? It tells us a lot. It also tells you about who couldn't afford to stay in South Carolina. So the census is a big, big deal, because it's like the first indicator. Tells you a lot. You know what I mean? Who didn't survive long enough to become a father, which is a problem in our community. Tells you who the homeowners are, who the taxpayers are, who the voters, who it tells you who would have been these things, who would have been your coach, who would have been a homeowner. That's another thing that the census tells us. Who would have been a leader in the community. This is why I say that it's bigger than Washington. Because before a community loses a congressional district seat, like the situation that's going on here, it often loses population strength. It loses families. Before it loses families, it loses stability. Before it loses stability, it loses young people. And that's the part that nobody wants to talk about. But we're going to talk about it tonight. Before we do that, we'll talk about something else. I'm going to show you something else people don't want to talk about. Check this out. Well, I thought I was going to say check that out. That was supposed to be a smooth transition. That didn't work out. But anyway, check this commercial out I have for you. Get a little timing down right here. There we go. In times of trouble, you need someone who knows the law, knows the community, and knows how to fight for you. The law offices of Caesar McKnight, right here in Kingstree, South Carolina, is committed to protecting your rights and protecting your future. From criminal defense, personal injury, to family law. When the stakes are high, experience matters. And so does someone who listens. Call today and get a competent, passionate, and effective legal team on your side. Because when life hits hard, you don't have to go through it alone. The law offices of Caesar McKnight, justice for real people, serving the Kingstree and surrounding South Carolina communities. Call now or visit the website today or stop by for a free consultation. Yeah, make sure y'all go check out my man Caesar McKnight. If you got a situation, that's definitely what you want to do is go and check that out. Also, if you are a homeowner in South Carolina, protect your investment. Go right here, right now to bedbugheatkill.com. I'm not saying you have bed bugs. What I'm saying is go check out the website. And if you have any questions, there's a number where you can reach out to me personally, and I'll talk to you through it. Like it's not always about coming to your house and doing the work. Sometimes I can talk you through what you can do to fix the problem, which is it's a win. You know what I mean? And then when you do need me, you give me a call and I come out and I rock. I do it. You feel what I'm saying? Master Termite Technician right here. Go check it out. Bedbugheatkills.com, because that is the truth. Heat kills bed bugs. Man, listen to that. All right, so let's talk. Let's talk. Because here is where it's going to get a little bit uncomfortable for some people, right? Here's where it's going to get a little, but I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I am only telling you what I think. These are my thoughts. These are my theories. These are some things that I'm looking at, what I'm looking at, everybody's looking at, and this is what I'm seeing. So, okay. Am I crazy? Maybe. That don't mean I'm wrong. All right. In South Carolina, you see it right on the screen. Non-Hispanic, Black, and other live births went from just over 20,000 in 2010 to 17,570 in 2023. Birth rate dropped 14.5 per 1,000. That doesn't mean every person needs to go out and have children. That's not what I'm suggesting here. That's a personal choice. But at the community level, numbers still have consequences. Okay? And that's just the truth. Whenever families are being formed, when people are delaying, having children, when young people cannot afford housing, which is a big issue, okay, across America. Y'all talking about redistricting, but stay with me here because it's all about the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And this is what they're saying. Okay? Again, when you have fewer families being formed, because people, whatever reasons, lifestyle, it's a lot of things that we engage in that do not help with the overall numbers. Okay. Again, one of the things being when young people can't afford to house themselves, that all plays a part into whether people decide to reproduce or not too. Okay, when marriage and the family structures are unstable, when people move away for opportunity because there's no jobs, and when some people again choose different lifestyles, you're free to do whatever you want to do. Okay, but don't complain when numbers look the way they do. That's just understand what your decision to whatever played a part in whatever. That's just my analysis, right? My opinion. Let me be careful here. Because all of this, new way and all of this, I'm smarter than God way of thinking, it all shows up in the census. And the census does not care about excuses, talking points. It counts bodies. And redistricting follows that count. I want to shout out the I gotta remove this, add that. There we go. Miss Christy Presley. She came on Tuesday. Guys, go by and check her out on a broadcast, on a Real Talk Tuesday broadcast. You'll see it on my timeline. It's the last broadcast that we did. Very interesting conversation with her, and also a conversation with the Williamsburg County District Chair, okay, Georgetown County District Chair. I haven't heard anything from her. Don't know. But yeah, we had a very interesting conversation about redistricting, and based on that conversation is where I started to formulate some of these thoughts that I'm having in my head that I just wanted to share. I wanted to unpack with you guys. Okay, you know what I mean? Because I think that's the thing that we're not watching. We're so caught up, we can't see the forest for the trees type situation. It's a numbers game, and we're losing at the numbers game, okay? Because of whatever reasons, but we're not replacing ourselves. The numbers state that. But check this out.
Get ready, Andrews. The Andrews Heritage Festival is coming October 31st. A day filled with community, culture, and celebration is on the way. Big energy, great people, and unforgettable moments. Save the date now and get ready.
Yeah, man. Run that back real fast, would you please, sir? Yeah, because all you vendors, I'm gonna have a piece coming out here in a minute for you vendors to get involved. We go ahead and get your spots early because it's gonna be a big year.
Get ready, Andrews. The Andrews Heritage Festival is coming October 31st. A day filled with community, culture, and celebration is on the way. Big energy, great people, and unforgettable moments. Save the date now and get ready.
All right. So now we have to talk about the part that it hurts. You know what I mean? You remember people say the truth hurts, say ouch, and just deal with it. However, you deal with it. Let me share something with you guys real fast. Remember those birth numbers, right? Remember the birth rate numbers that I just went over with you. Because all of this stuff, you put it together to make this disaster cake, right? So here we go. Let's dive into this. Young black men in South Carolina are dying at a rate that should shake every church member, every school board member, every city council member, every county council member, every parent, every coach, every pastor, every politician. Everybody should be bothered by these numbers. According to the Johns Hopkins, you see it on the screen right there. According to Johns Hopkins, 2023, and we all know that these numbers have increased since 3 years ago. That's what's available. That was available at the time that I did this. South Carolina's gun violence fact sheet: young black males, age 15 to 34. What stands out to you about that age group, 15 to 34? I'll tell you, it's the prime years for young people to reproduce, okay? Black males aged 15 to 34 were only 3.6% of the state's population, but they accounted for 46% of all gun homicide deaths. I'm going to read that again for you. Black males aged 15 to 34 were only 3.6% of the state's population, but they accounted for 46% of all gun homicide deaths. Let that sit for a second, my people. Especially if you are in care of a young man or a young person, period. 3.6% of the population, 46% of the gun homicide deaths. That's not just crime data, that's demographic damage that you're looking at. Okay? That's population elimination, population reduction that you're looking at in real time. Every young man buried is just not a lost life. That's a possible father, a possible husband, a possible business owner, a possible homeowner, a possible voter, a possible mentor, a possible coach, a possible deacon, a possible councilman, a possible school board member, a possible grandfather. And when you multiply that over 10 years, 20 years, a generation, the loss is not only emotional, but it becomes political. It becomes economic. It becomes cultural. And most importantly, it becomes numerical. And the census numerical. And eventually, as we're seeing here in real time, it becomes a map. We're going to finish up here in a second, guys. I do want to bring to your attention that this event commemorating the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution and the Black American contribution in said war, the 163rd anniversary of the assault on Battery Wagner. Okay, this is going to take place July 18th, 2026. There's a fee of $35 and it's limited seating. For more information, you can contact, let me get this on my screen so I can see it. So, okay. I apologize. This is what you call a cold read. But anyway, you see it on the screen right there. Go ahead and do your due diligence and educate yourself on what is going on. Also, educate yourself on your family history. Go right now and look up. Do start the research. You say you've been going to do it. You say, man, I've been going to do that for a long time. I've been going to look into who I is. Well, this is a great place to start right here at the C. Williams Rush African American Museum.org. Go ahead there right now. There are links on that page that you can use to start this journey. Some of the things, you want to know a good place to start. Like if you got family members, men that were in the military, that's a good place to start because that's who they kept good records of back then. But there's a lot of links there and also a lot of rich history there. There's also the full length of the presidential gala that took place a couple weeks ago. So it's all there, right there. Go over there, check it out. See Williams Rush Museum, African American Art and Culture. Yeah. All right, let's get into this last little part right here. So we can close up for this evening. You feel what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys for being here. I just wish more than one of you would hit the like button. If you're getting anything out of this, you're being selfish by not hitting the like button. I mean, it's a selfless act. Please hit the like button. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Come on. I haven't played this in a while. I'm going to play this here before we get out of here. Most people know the building. Most people say the name, but very few people know the story behind it. Ralph H. Johnson Veteran Affairs Medical Center in Charleston, South Carolina, isn't named after a politician. It's not named after a donor. It's named after a young Marine who made the ultimate sacrifice. Ralph Henry Johnson was just 19 years old, a United States Marine, a Vietnam War veteran, a kid from South Carolina who answered the call. In June of 1968, during combat in Vietnam, Johnson's unit came under attack. Grenades began raining down. Ralph Johnson didn't hesitate. He didn't look for cover. He didn't think about himself. He threw himself on the grenade. He gave his life so others could live. For that act of courage, Ralph H. Johnson was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration in the United States. So every time a veteran walks through those doors, every time a family finds care, every time a life is saved inside that hospital, They're walking into a place of true valor. Not a name on a wall, not just a sign on a building, but a story, a sacrifice, a reminder of what service really means. So the next time you hear the name Ralph H. Johnson, ask yourself, did you know his story? Did you know the story of Brother Ralph? Hoorah. Salute to all my Marines, Marine Corps brethren, brothers in arms. All right, so here we go. Here we go. The Supreme Court's South Carolina redistricting case, Alexander versus South Carolina State Conference of the NAACP, made it clear as to how complicated this fight that we're currently caught up in. Oh, I say we're there because I'm not. I'm just me, an American. I vote how I want to vote, and I just want to point out the hypocrisy in some of the people who encourage you to vote, because I've seen it happen in real time where people exercise their right to vote, and because they didn't vote for the mob's team, they get publicly humiliated because they exercise their right to vote. That's why I don't pay these fools no attention. But anyway, here we go. The Supreme Court, South Carolina redistricting case, Alexander versus South Carolina Conference of the NAACP, made it clear how complicated this fight is. Like I said before, the court said partisan gerrymandering claims are generally not handled in federal court, but racial gerrymandering can be unconstitutional if race predominates. The court also said challengers have to separate race from politics when the two are highly correlated. And doing that in South Carolina is like separating the wet from the water. Good luck with that. But, not a but, that is the legal fight that is at hand. But what I'm talking about is not. I'm not talking about a legal fight. I'm talking about the community fight, the existence fight. Because even if the map drawers say we're following population, that raises another question for me. Okay. Why is our population power weaker than it should be? And that question cannot be answered in court or through some court case that these people are about to engage in. That has to be a question that's got to be answered in your home, your church, your school, your neighborhood, in your community, in your county budget meetings, your city budget meetings, hospitals, and your economic development meetings. And it needs to be a family conversation. What's happening to our families? Will our families be around when we're not here? Do we care? Are we that selfish? Are we that ungodly? These are questions that you gotta ask. Well, that's that I'm asking. I'm getting it on the record. Because redistricting may be a political fight, but the census, again, that's the community report card. And if the numbers are warning us that Black political strength in South Carolina is shrinking, then we better stop acting like this is only about Democrats and Republicans. This is about survival. This is about family, safety, economics, or whether communities will still have enough weight to matter on the next map. Because again, this is the fastest growing state according to some numbers. While at the same time, the Black population is shrinking. Make it make sense. No, you don't have to make it make sense. People better pay attention to what's going on. Here's some questions you should be asking. Who benefits when the Black communities are smaller, poorer, older, more divided, and less organized? Here, I'll answer you to that. I don't give a damn about who benefits or doesn't benefit. I just want my family to be here. My concern is not about who's going to benefit from it, because I don't think anybody benefits from it. What happens when people move into South Carolina, but Black communities do not grow at the same pace? They get overshadowed. They get forgotten about. They become politically impotent. And that's what happens to anybody that doesn't fight for existence. That's not exclusive to Blacks. That's exclusive to anybody. Any race of people that engages in things that are antithetical to the family, to the growth of the population, that's what happens. It's just cause and effect, if you ask me. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing. There's nothing complicated about it. Okay. Just like it's nothing complicated about Mr. Johnny Walker Red here on this nice Saturday evening. Once I get off air, I'm going to enjoy me nice Monte Cristo. But I digress. Let's get back to this. Let me finish this up right here, y'all. I appreciate y'all for hanging in there with me. Please, if you would, at this point, if you've been here this long, hit the like button. Please hit the dislike button. Hit something. You know what I mean? Please, 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 please. All right, let's put a bow on this thing here for everybody. All right, yeah. Again, guys, one more time. Shout out to bedbugheatkills.com, proud sponsor of the podcast. And so let me some more love.
Termites don't need an invitation. In South Carolina, the pressure is real. Warm weather, moisture, crawl spaces, wood-to-ground contact. That's the perfect setup for termite activity. By the time you see the damage, they may have been there for months or years. Softwood, mud tubes, hollow spots, hidden damage. Don't wait until the repair bill tells the story. Schedule a termite inspection today. Palmetto Pest Control, LLC. Veteran-owned, local certified. Protect the structure. Protect the investment. Visit www.bedbugheatkill.com.
Master termite technician patch. Everybody can Everybody don't rock these right here. But anyway, yeah. Protect your investment, protect your property. If you just got questions, go over there. Ask a question. All right. So what am I saying here ultimately here? And again, I appreciate you guys for hanging in there with me all through this process, hearing me out. All right. Hearing me out, because I think this is that again, this is that conversation that is not being had. All right, let's see what I have here. Again, I'm not saying that redistricting is a fight that should be ignored. I'm not saying you should take what's happening lightly. I am saying look underneath it. Look underneath the conversation, because the map is the final product. The census is the evidence. The community is the source. And if we do not deal with birth rates, violence, migration, poverty, family structure, education, and economic opportunities, then we're going to keep showing up every 10 years shocked by maps that we're really being drawn, that we're really being drawn long before the legislature ever touched their pens. That map started in the neighborhood. That map actually started in households. That map starts with who survives, who stays, who builds, who votes, and ultimately who gets counted. That's the real conversation that South Carolina needs to have. And with that, I would say good evening.
Termites don't need an invitation. In South Carolina, the pressure is real. Warm weather, moisture, crawl spaces, wood-to-ground contact. That's the perfect setup for termite activity. By the time you see the damage, they may have been there for months or years. Softwood, mud tubes, hollow spots, hidden damage. Don't wait until the repair bill tells the story. Schedule a termite inspection today. Palmetto Pest Control, LLC. Veteran-owned, local certified. Protect the structure. Protect the investment. Visit www.bedbugheatkill.com.